Hello, and welcome to the Capital News. My name is Tyler Corritis. I am the brother of Alex Corritis. As he mentioned previously, he is a bit under the weather and unfortunately lost his voice. Due to these unfortunate circumstances, he has asked me to fill in for the episode. As you all know, Alex is very appreciative and fond of his listeners. So please feel free to shoot him a message or drop a comment and wish the man well. Would definitely love hearing from his listeners, and it would definitely brighten up his day and lift his spirits. And I thank you in advance. Anyway, as I'd mentioned, my name is Tyler Corritis, and I will be hosting episode 85A, Keep America Great. So let's go ahead first and take a look at where the stock market closed. The S&P 500 closed up 9 points, the Dow up 38 points, NASDAQ up 33 points, and Russell 2000 up 5 points. Oil closed at $54.51 a barrel. Gold and silver saw an increase on the day, with gold sitting at $1,368 an ounce and silver sitting at $15.18 an ounce. However, with all the positives, the U.S. 10-year Treasury did see a slight decrease at 1.5%, closing at 2.029%, and the VIX closing at 14.33 points, a 5.4% decrease. The Federal Reserve did mention that they are going to leave rates unchanged for the time being, but they did signal rate cuts ahead are very possible. I'm sure all of you are very aware that our Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump, held a rally in Orlando, Florida on Tuesday, where he announced that he will officially be running for re-election in 2020. And you got to give it to the man. He is definitely a marketing genius and really knows how to get the people going. So much so that he allowed his supporters at this rally to choose his 2020 campaign slogan. The options were between his 2016 campaign slogan, Make America Great Again, and Keep America Great. In an uproar, the people spoke, of course, and they chose Keep America Great. In my opinion, I have to agree. It's very bold. And it pretty much insinuates that we as a nation have grown and propelled forward, and we're beginning to prosper a lot more than we have in previous administrations. But it also allows for further growth, where I believe Donald Trump will allow us, the people, to continue to do so. The leader of the free world and the greatest country on the planet needs to be bold, but more importantly, we, the people, must be bold as well. I would like to touch on a couple of subjects in regards to President Trump's speech on Tuesday, in regards to the Clinton email scandal, the Muller redo, Democrats are running scared in the campaign, and socialism. So, as we all know, Donald Trump always makes sure to bring up those Hillary Clinton emails. The 33,000 deleted, acid washed, and I've actually read reports where it might even be over 40,000 emails that were completely erased. And as Trump had mentioned, if he or anybody else in this country were to do what Hillary Clinton had done, we'd all be in prison by now and be sitting in the electric chair. His words. And it is a bit ridiculous. It often makes you wonder what would have happened if Hillary Clinton did win the presidency. This might be something that nobody had ever known about. She would have just completely, swept it under the rug. If Donald Trump does happen to have dirt and has evidence, as he insinuates, I think he needs to hurry up and release these. It is something that we, the American people, should be aware of. We have the right to know. This is our country after all. I know during his speech on Tuesday night, he was insinuating that the State Department might have access to those deleted emails, cracking a couple jokes with Senator Lindsey Graham in the audience. And of course, Lindsey Graham and other representatives in the audience had some smirks on their face. So it leads me to believe that they really might have some evidence about this, but I think it's about time he makes some big drops. He's been hinting at it over the months, but I definitely think it's time to do so, especially during this campaign trail. Especially if it brings out some bad news and some dirt on the Democrats that are running against him as well. Which you kind of get that idea because they're doing everything they can with CNN and other mainstream media outlets. They're trying to do whatever they can to make the president look bad. And as far as the Mueller redo, I know Trump always talks about, the Mueller report completely exonerated him. There was no Russia collusion, which I do believe is very true. And I don't understand why the Democrats can't just let it go. I do agree with Donald Trump when he says that this is presidential harassment and it should never happen to another sitting president as we progress forward. It is a bit ridiculous. I don't know who else they need to talk to, how many more FBI agents need to be interviewed. It's just a tad bit ridiculous that they're still sitting on this. It's very clear that this is all they have going for them. They're trying to stop. Rather than letting him finish his term and take it to the voting polls in 2020, they'd rather get him impeached because they know they can't beat him in the next election. It doesn't matter who they throw at him. And that leads to my third point about the Democrats running scared. They're pulling everything, all the tricks, everything out of their hats, their sleeves. They're throwing everything they absolutely can at Donald Trump, and he beats it time after time after time. And it leads me to believe that they are scared because they won't give up. Donald Trump isn't somebody that you can intimidate. He thrives off of it. He loves the attention. He's a bit narcissistic. He likes to be in the media. And that's part of his marketing strategy as well that's made him a successful businessman. He likes to be in the spotlight. So everybody calls him a narcissist, and typically the best way to handle a narcissist is don't give them attention, but that's all they continue to do is give him attention, and I think that's because they're scared, and that's the only way they know how to react, because clearly they don't know how to run against him. Everybody has their own ideas, and it's just going to be, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just going to be something that is going to be very enjoyable to watch, the Democrats competing head to head. And whoever does succeed and gets the nomination in the Democratic Party is going to have a very difficult time going up against Donald Trump, because he did mention that he's going to be doing some live tweeting during their campaign debates. And that'll be very interesting to watch as well. Like my brother, I don't agree with the amount of tweeting that he does do, but at the same time I understand that that's his only outlet to get to the American people. While he should chill out and calm down on certain aspects, I do get where he's coming from, and he should be tweeting. It's what made him successful in the 2016 race, and it's what's going to make him successful moving forward, because he's able to voice his concern and voice his opinions and let us, the people, know what is going on. I do believe that he is one of the more, if not the most transparent president that we've had, especially in recent history. And I hope by releasing some of these FISA documents and Hillary Clinton emails that he becomes even more so transparent, so we actually know what is going on. And of course, he had also mentioned that the United States of America will never be a socialist country. And I 110% agree with him. I don't understand the uprising with socialism. Everybody today has a cell phone in their hand which holds all the world's knowledge. All you have to do is go to Google and type in socialism, and you're able to find out whatever it is you're looking for. It doesn't matter which way you cut it. I know Bernie Sanders likes to call it democratic socialism, but it doesn't really make a difference. Socialism is socialism. And the whole thing with, the people that support this socialistic uprising is they're tired of the 1%, but you're just going to make that 1% even smaller and give more power to fewer people. And it doesn't make sense to me. Especially with the whole Cortez and Bernie Sanders stuff going on. It's a bit ridiculous, and, you'd like to believe that people are smarter, and the people are smarter than that. I get where the younger generations are coming from. I'm a part of that generation. The free college educations, student loan forgiveness. It sounds very promising, but it's very unrealistic. And, I mean, I understand in our generation it's a little harder to get ahead as previous generations before us in regards to finding a good job out of college and, getting married, starting a family. It's tough. Everybody understands that, but there are ways around it. You know, college isn't something that everybody needs to do. Blue collar workers are the backbone of this country, and I have nothing but respect for those people. And there's nothing wrong with taking a blue collar job. I mean, a lot of them pay very well. And as long as Donald Trump keeps hammering this, making sure that whatever we do not become socialist, is very, very important, especially to myself. I don't agree with any of their viewpoints when it comes to socialism. And I personally don't think that it would ever come to fruition either. I think the people in this country are smarter than that and would never allow that to happen. And if it did, I believe that there would probably most likely be a revolution to overturn that. That is what our founding fathers were getting away from with Great Britain, were the central banking and the high taxes, the freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. And you're just not going to get those certain things if we go to a socialistic government. In other news, one of my favorite stories in recent time, the Nexium leader was found guilty on all counts in his sex cult trial, a cult where women were branded with his initials like cattle and forced to have sex with this man, a cult where these sex slaves were tasked with recruiting slaves of their own. He was also accused of having sex with a girl as young as 15 years old. There's absolutely no place for this sort of evil in this world. It's sickening and almost hard to fathom. And I really, really hope that these victims find peace, and I really hope that this man that ran this cult gets what's coming to him. On a lighter note, 97-year-old D-Day veteran K.T. Robbins was reunited with the love of his life last week. I mean, who doesn't appreciate a good love story? Robbins and Janine met in 1944 when Robbins was stationed in northeastern France during World War II. For 75 years, he kept a photograph of Janine with him, and with the help of the French broadcaster who had interviewed him while he was in France, they were able to reunite after all these years. When Robbins saw her, he showed her the photograph he still had and said, quote, "I always loved you. You never got out of my heart." And that is a very beautiful story, and it's something that's out of a Hollywood movie. You can't even write that. It's incredible. Well, that about wraps up episode 85A, and I thank you folks for having me. Be sure to share my brother's podcast and with your friends and family and on social media with Twitter and Facebook. And as I mentioned, this is Tyler Karitis, and I am signing off with the Capital News. Godspeed.